talk about Jefferson's vision of the connection between personal and political self-government.
So moral philosophy for Jefferson and for Tucker is much more than personal philosophy. And so it combines many elements that we might call history or sociology or political science all together. So George Tucker is trying to get students to think of themselves as citizens with enormous responsibilities. Responsibilities not just to preserve the Republic, but to perfect the Republic. And in this, he's on the same wavelength as Jefferson. So the point of the education is not, okay, we're preparing you to go off and get a good job. That's not how they thought. The assumption was that these young men are going to lead Virginia. They're almost all from Virginia. They are all from the higher class. There are no charity scholarships in early UVA. There's no money for it. It's all male. And Jefferson's design, and Tucker's on board with it, is that these young men are being prepared to lead Virginia. And as Jefferson and Tucker sees it, they're not just to preserve Virginia as it is, they're to make Virginia to be the very best state it could ever be. Jefferson is hoping that the next generation of leaders in Virginia will be able to accomplish things that he could not accomplish, including the emancipation of enslaved people.
Broadly, what was Jefferson's vision of the curriculum at UVA, and what did the connection he saw between that curriculum and creating perfect citizens?
Well, in many ways, the curriculum is what you mentioned from this letter back in 1771. Jefferson wants students to know everything. It's pretty daunting and utterly unrealistic. This is a university which, has little more than about a handful of professors. But Jefferson wants them to be able to teach the full range of human knowledge. So Jefferson wants his students to know the classics. He wants them to read Cicero. He wants them to read Homer. He wants them to know, ideally he'd like them to know Greek as well as Latin, but at least they need to know Latin pretty thoroughly. Then he wants them to know modern languages, not just English, but certainly French and ideally German too. He'd like them to know the full range of the sciences, moral philosophy, including political economy. He wants them all to become little Jeffersons. He expects them to have the self-discipline, the extraordinary self-discipline that nobody else in Virginia has ever had other than Thomas Jefferson. So on the one hand, it's kind of noble. He expects all these young men, and these young men were 17, 18, 19 years old, with lots of priorities that are different than Jefferson's, and none of them with the self-discipline that can master Jefferson's. So there is this disconnect between the pool of young men who are little more than boys and Jefferson's notion that they are going to attack their studies and master the full range of human knowledge. Very different from today, where we have hundreds of professors teaching all sorts of specialized things, and students pick and choose to learn certain subfields because it's impossible to try to know everything now. Well, in reality, except for Jefferson, I don't think anybody in America at that time knew just about everything that there was to know.